side, and I'd love to see Casa play through him. But Lyric, enough about speculation. We're getting into Champ Select.
Yeah, and some things we can keep an eye out for are things like the Nocturne still being left open, Renekton still on the table, because both of these champions 100% presence in LPL so far. Nocturne especially has been banned almost every game, banned 23, only left open the other 3 games and picked. But so far, we're going to see that one also taken away. The Renekton is open if JDG want to be the team to take that away, with Lee Sin also taken off the table.
Yep, so Lee Sin removed. That Senna that we talked about is available, so something like Senna Time Kench could be a combo that a team like Top Esports could go for, but so far 100% presence for that Renekton, and it's being hovered as the first pick. Zoom wanting to set himself up with an aggressive top laner here.
And the expected pick coming out now for Top Esports, I'm wondering if they go straight towards that Ezreal or if they want to go for the Varus. Because we remember Jackie Love was like the go-to Ezreal player in 2020. Even when it started falling out of favor, he was the player that would typically go back to that. But Top Esports showing, no, we want more lane prio, we want more bully potential going into that bot lane. And the expected Udyr pick right along with it. Udyr has been the most picked jungle outside of Rumble in LPL so far.
Yeah, and I mean, let's be honest, his Varus is pretty great as well. Jackie Love is an extremely accomplished player, but importantly, the Varus doesn't have a gap closed that Jackie Love can use aggressively into the enemy team. So maybe this is the perfect pick for him where he can't accidentally jump too far forward. We'll have to wait and see. Kanavi goes for a Nidalee though. The Nidalee Renekton is the tried and true combo. We could even have Yagao's Lucian as well being hovered. This is already heating up to be a good game. And Loken goes with that Jhin again that you talked about earlier.
Yeah, so far JDG showing they want to be really aggressive right off the bat, right? When you think of all 3 of these champions extremely aggressive and potent in the early game, you have the setup for Nidalee there already. I think that can be a potential flex, right? You can always move that one around to the mid lane, so maybe that's why they don't want to lock in the Lucian just yet. We already hit on something like the Twisted Fate earlier, which is a big Yagao pick that also combos well with the Nidalee with the point-and-click gold card. And now Top Esports look like they want to just pick up their counter for what they expect to be a top lane 8 Renekton. And this was a matchup that Xingtian played many times in the LDL playoffs.
Yeah, that's the most important thing to remember, is that it's not just about the matchup, it's also about Xingtian. This is his most played champion in the competitive scene. 70% win rate, like I said before. His average KDA on Aatrox, 4.4. This guy is an Aatrox monster. Let's talk bans though, Lyric. We've got a Lucian ban, we've got a Thresh ban. What else are you expecting to see?
So the 2 expected mid laners that we already talked about for JDG are off the table, right? So they realize, hey, these are the strong combos with Nidalee. We're going to get rid of these. Now for the side of JDG, you probably just take away another hard engaged support. But realistically, Leona, Nautilus, Rel left open, you'd probably end up with a trade anyway. So maybe you just ban something out from Knight's Pool that you don't want to deal with. That's what they're going to opt into in the end, and they're going to go straight towards this Akali. And now the Tahm Kench is left open if Top Esports want to go with that. That is something that obviously pairs extremely well with Varus, but Joie, much more of the engage initiation player, is going to go straight towards the Nautilus.
Yeah, getting that engaged, getting that way to start these fights, to get the action rolling. Over to the side JDG, we could well see the Leona. This is a tried and true LPL support matchup right here, the Leona versus the Nautilus. We saw endless amounts of this matchup in the 2v2 last year, and it will be locked in. And now, final pickup. This is to decide whether that Renekton goes to the top lane or if it's going to be mid for Yagao.
That's the thing, right? Because if they want to keep an AD mid lane option, there really isn't much left. The Zoe still being left open. I don't think it'd be that surprising for them to go with this. If they don't go with the Zoe, I think they flex Renekton mid and just pick another AD top laner that also does have setup for the Nidalee. But Munchables, it's Yagao. He's going to lock it in.
Yes, and it's a nice little instant from Knight. Goes with the LeBlanc. We've seen what Knight can do on LeBlanc. Think back to MSC. Think about him breaking entire teams' ankles on this pick. Cannot wait to see this mid lane matchup.
This one is going to be extremely hyped going into it. LeBlanc always being a champ that can go toe-to-toe with Zoe, especially once you hit that level 6 and try to find those all-in potentials for the kill. And when we're looking at these compositions, right, both of them spell very early aggression coming in. We're going to be kind of fighting for prio all over the map. You do expect to see Kanavi play much more towards that top side with the fact that they do have the Renekton coming out. And then for me, I'm wondering, again, where is Karsa going to look? I think there will be certain opportunities topside, but you should lose that 2v2 if Renekton hits that W. So do they just default back towards that spring split bot side play with Jackie and Jewel?
That's going to be the question. Many questions for me, honestly, Lyric, coming into this series, because it's Top Esports and JDG. These guys, I mean, like, obviously I am biased. I came into the LPL for 2020. And these two teams were the kings of 2020, right? Both of them winning a championship. Fantastic series as well. That's the best thing about those finals, is that they were the full 5 games and they were close games the entire way. I'm excited to see what can happen. But once again, I want to remind everyone at home that Top Esports in the regular splits have never lost to JDG. They are 8-0 in the regular splits so far. And we'll find out if they can maintain that record. But man, that mid lane matchup, Knight versus Yagao. Yagao takes the signature Zoe away from Knight, and Knight locks in that LeBlanc to punish it. But also the top lane, Qingtian and Zoom. The Aatrox for Qingtian. Can Karsa set that top lane up is my question.
We are going to see, because again, in your debut, not only talking about matchups, players, it's his first game in the LPL. He's only played one split of LDL, so I think there definitely is some sort of priority on making sure Qingtian is comfortable coming onto stage. But going right back to that mid lane matchup, Munchables, not only do we have Yagao on Zoe, his most played champion in his career, 65% win rate. Let's remember, LeBlanc is his second most played champion. We saw him bring it out a ton last year in both finals. If there is any matchup that Yagao should know extremely well, it is this one.
It does feel like both players are Yagao right now, right? And Knight going with obviously a very favorable matchup in terms of the 1v1 as well. If we just step away from the narratives for a second, let's take a look at these compositions then, Lyric, and what you expect from these two junglers in the early game, because it feels like Kanavi starting on the bottom side of the map. He's on the Nidalee. He's got a Renekton up top. You know, I'm piecing together the dots here, and it feels like we could have action in the top lane.
Yeah, we already know that JDG are most likely going to be looking for that play. Karsa also already pathing up towards the top side as well, so going to be there just in case any shenanigans happen. But with the fact that JDG will have push in top side, would mean that you can expect Kanavi should have a pretty guaranteed topside scuttle as well. As we see on our screens right now, Yagao also does have push in this early mid lane matchup, just spamming paddle stars on the wave. Knight needs to be looking for aggressive trades and looking to trade HP with Yagao, since he can't match that early wave clear.
Yeah, nothing too surprising on the runes. One important rune to mention is Jackie Love does have that Halo Blade, so as you can see on the screen, very aggressive for the trading early, but generally speaking also indicates that he's probably going to be playing that Lethality Varus. And one thing that's worth mentioning about Lethality Varus is it pairs obviously well in poke compositions, but when you have things like this LeBlanc on the team, you can follow up on an assassin and get an extra blast of burst damage onto a single target, and you kind of become this long-range assassin that pairs up extremely well.
We also need to remember that LeBlanc also functions decently well as, you know, a pseudo poke champion as well, right? You get vision down, deny vision from the enemy team, poke over the wall, you know, distort and throw down the Q, maybe land a chain as well, and you can get right back out of there. So two champions that definitely work extremely well together. This was actually a combo we saw a lot from, I believe it was OMG in 2020, LeBlanc plus either Varus or any kind of poke champion down in that bot lane to get set up first on objectives and not let the enemy team come in. But everything so far going pretty stock standard that we talked about. You see that Zoom does have push in the top lane. Kanavi making his way up there right now. I don't expect that they should be able to pull off any play there with Kanavi. Engage
on the bottom side here. Jackie Love's in big trouble. The cleansers come out. The ignite's there. The flash forward from Loken. Lumao survives as it's a 2v2 kill in favor of JDG.
And that is not what you would expect coming into JDG up against Top Esports. Loken just continuously going back to this Jhin pick. They find the engage. He has to blow both summoners. Actually, summoners burnt on both sides, but still, JDG feeling extremely good about that one. I wonder if they'll be able to get the wave in. Jwa, being a bro, does hold this one, so Jackie Love doesn't lose out on too much.
Yeah, does have to concede it eventually, because, I mean, look at his HP. He has to accept that he can't tank that forever. But Jackie Love's here to pick up most of that wave. So CS numbers-wise, it's going to be relatively even. But a huge fight there. The fact that Loken and Lumao are winning that 2v2 already is a really bad sign for Top Esports fans. That's the lane that usually dominates.
It's also the lane in this draft that is the most contentious early on, right? So we're going to go straight into the replay and see how this one starts off. Lands a nice Zenith Blade. We see that the hook comes out onto Leona, which, right, doesn't actually really do anything. Loken is the one putting out all the DPS. So JackeyLove might flash away, but Loken with the 4-shot able to flash in and follow up.
Beautiful to see JDG starting things off strong. And again, this Jhin pick that you mentioned earlier, it's not particularly meta. Like, these facilitating AD carries are slowly starting to rear their heads a little bit with things like the Sivir that we've seen a couple of times as well. But generally speaking, even that has been the lethality Sivir. So it's interesting to see how it's working. Kanavi moves down to the bottom side as the flash onto JackeyLove. The spear is perfect. Another kill for Loken. And JackeyLove, he just ain't having a good time.
And JDG just play it extremely well. Kind of surprised we weren't able to anticipate that and have Karsa on the bottom side, right? Because we see Kanavi come out of base, go straight towards his Krugs, and turn that right into a bot gank. And looks like they want to keep going for it. They want to dive Jaw.
Jaw's in trouble. Does have his flash available. Dodges the spear. He'll be okay on this one. So it'll just be a couple of tower plates taken. But Loken, already with 2 kills. Already had a pickaxe before that ever happened. Now with some plates, an extra kill going his way. They can even go for Dragon if they want to, but it looks like Kanavi has other things on the menu as Zoom looks for the 1v1. And Xingtian, on his first game in the LPL, is taken down 1v1.
JDG just playing out these laning phases so well. They come out with a very clear plan of wanting to go toe-to-toe with the aggression. We know Renekton extremely potent early on. He even already has the Iron Spike Whip to where it looks like Xingtian was trying to push in the wave to be able to get his first base off and go toe-to-toe. But Zoom was able to find that before he was able to pull that one off. And Noon Quiver already coming out on Jhin. Now Zoom obviously sitting on some more gold as well. This is a game that can, you know, possibly snowball out of control very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like you're saying it, right? Xingtian wanted to get back to base. Fast recall with the death. He's just a 5-head player. That's all. Don't worry about it. We'll drop a ward, spots out Kanavi, but that might be a bit of trouble for him because Zoom's moving in. Oh, I wasn't sure. Flash was available for Zoom. I thought he was going to go for that one, but in the meantime, Karst has taken the Scuttle Crab in the bot side, and it looks like he's going to go for the Drake himself because obviously Kanavi spotted on the top side means Karst has a window of opportunity.
Yeah, and, you know, Top Esports should be able to guarantee this one. So the next thing we're going to be looking at is the Rift Herald, which will be up in about a minute. That should be pretty guaranteed for the side of JDG with not only the push in the top lane, the advantage they have also coming out from bot. So we're going to see Kanavi path towards his bot side camps. If JDG need it, you can always shadow towards that bottom lane, let them push out the next wave, and then go for that standard jungle. Jungle makes his way towards top, support goes for the recall, and then you just kind of hover around that, guaranteeing that JDG get that one for free.
We'll see if that's going to be the play for them as Karsa returns to his own jungle and starts to path up towards that top side himself. Knight has the blue buff. Yagao's going to miss out on the bubble thanks to Knight bouncing away with the distortion. And I'm excited to see what happens in the mid game because now we're beyond the level 6 mark. We have to start talking about LeBlanc because LeBlanc, not so great before the level 6, but once you've got that ultimate, instantly you can start one-shotting people. I'm going to hold that thought, though. Both junglers in this bottom lane, JackeyLove stepping up, does have his cleanse available, has ultimate as well, but Flash will still be on cooldown for just a little bit.
Yeah, and we see that Loken's still not there, but they're going to engage.
JackeyLove's in trouble, cleanses himself away. Lumao might have gone a little deep on this one. Great counter gank comes through from Karsa, and the stun is there onto Kanavi as well, but Karsa has to back away. Curtain Call comes out, and everybody's so low on HP. Oh, it's beautiful from JDG as they turn this on his head, and Yagao arrives to clean up the kills. A double for the mid laner, and JDG flip everything around.
JDG just completely taking over so far. And you could see Lumao went in for that engage. Loken still wasn't 6, hit it right at that time. Sure, Lumao goes down, but now with the curtain call up, they're able to finish off the rest of these kills. It looked pretty clean from Top Esports at first to stop that initial engage coming out from JDG, but still not able to turn anything from it. And Yagao also pushed in the wave mid, so he had tempo to move first.
He certainly did. Beautiful stuff. Let's take another look because it looked so good for Top Esports to kick it off. They knew. They knew Karsa was here the whole time. It's so 5-head, Lyric.
Yeah, and they're up in items. They have the damage. We see them going in right now. getting all the damage down on Jackie Cleanse comes out, but now the level 6s are hit. Loken hitting the 4th shot, and this is where JDG are confident they can turn it around with that curtain call available. Sure, you do have some flashes on the sides of top esports, but Yagao was spotted over the ward, so even if you blew those flashes, you were going to go down regardless, so JDG just able to pick up all of those cleanup kills very easily.
You know, Lyric, that's what we call a pro gamer move right there. They knew he was coming. They made it look like it was a good play for top esports, but JDG absolutely have top esports number right here. Look at the gold difference. There's a 3,000 gold difference at the 10-minute mark in favor of JDG. And, you know, we said the meta is looking good for JDG right now. Not many of these picks are what I was referring to. Like the Nidalee, not really that big of a jungler right now. The Jhin especially, really not that popular of an AD carry. But hey, JDG are making it work. It doesn't matter if it's meta. And actually, in the words of Karsa from Top Esports, if you win enough games, you define the meta. That's what JDG are looking to do.
And we can even see now what JDG are doing with their advantage, right? Loken already having the Gale Force, so he's going to be pretty safe down in that bottom lane. They're finding the avenues to roam Lumao on the map with Kanavi, try to find opportunities. They aren't going to need to bring their bot lane up because their top side is so far ahead. Now that Yagao is 2-0, gonna back, might even be able to get his mythic item. But regardless, it's going to turn into Kanavi just being able to take this Rift Herald. With Top Esports not able to do anything, so you would expect maybe you try to look for the cross map, but with the potential threat of Herald being dropped topside, it does look like Karsa is pathing up there to cover for Qingtian.
I have to here because I'm not gonna lie, Qingtian 20 CS down at this point. Zoom already killing him one time. I think if Kanavi makes his way up there as well, Qingtian's not gonna stand much of a chance under the tower. Zoom's just gonna shove this wave in, maybe go for a reset himself here. There's item breakpoints, as you're mentioning, starting to come through here. Loken already with that Gale Force. I'm looking towards Yagao's first item as well, because he's getting awfully close to that Ludens, and that is a monstrous spike on the Zoe. That's when you really start to have that 100-0 potential that we so often see.
The big thing is as well that when JDG get on objectives first, when they get onto things like Dragon, it's going to be so hard. Oh, Jackie Love.
Yeah, he does have a stopwatch. Joel backing away as well. Karsa's arrived.
Oh,
that arrow damage. Lumao barely survives as a TP actually came through from Yagao, who does arrive at the situation. Herald going to be dropped on this bottom side. Loken's here, and I think they should be able to finish this tower off the back of it because everyone's recalling on the side of Top Esports. With Yagao here, Loken here on the next wave, they should finish this tower off. So it will be the first tower of the game, going the way of JDG. Drake has just spawned as well. But it looks like resets will come through. Kanavi seems to be pathing towards the top side, so maybe Top Esports could get the Drake.
Yeah, we are going to see that Top Esports will have tempo back on the map, right? Because those members had to recall first. Jackie Love already making his way down, Chua as well. Yagao looks like he does want to try and zone them off, so JDG at least signaling they aren't going to give this one away for free. He does have a flash.
Oh, no.
I think he's fine.
He'll get over the wall. That's the downside of Zoe, right? Is you're not that mobile unless you've stolen a spell. Lumao going to tank a bit of damage here. Top Esports gain control of the area as Jackie Love's arrived from the bottom side. Needs to push that wave out ASAP. And this is the part of the game where Lethality Varus is exceptionally strong, right? He's just finished his Prowler's Claw. He has a lot of upfront damage, and nobody really has much armor on the side of JDG just yet, aside from maybe Zoom. So this is going to be the Drake going the way of Top Esports here. No contest from JDG, but they are still 4,000 gold ahead. They're still feeling pretty good in this game.
JDG have done the classic trade of, hey, you know, we're fine giving away early dragons to try to accelerate our gold lead elsewhere on the map. They haven't really been able to get any more topside vision down because recalls are going to come out, but still Zoom heavily winning in that lane. And now for me, it's just a game of tempo for the side of JDG, right? You're going to have Yagao answer waves in bot. You should consistently have push in mid, and then you could start rotating your force in mid up towards that top side, get some vision down, try to force Qingtian off the tower. Even if you can't find the kill, maybe zone him off some XP and just start whittling down those plates. But actually, Munchables, plates are about to be gone, so you're just going to get the turret.
That's true. Plates are going to be gone, so that extra gold won't quite go their way in it. I mean, in terms of just plates, JDG have won that handily in this early game. Like, it's like, I mean, Top Esports, I don't know if they even got a plate. I think they maybe got one on the top side. I'm not even sure about that, though, honestly. So Yeah, top esports, when it comes to monetary value, falling pretty far behind. But when it comes to these fights, maybe they can make things happen. Oh, maybe not, though, because Jackie Love just evaporates. There's a stopwatch for Droll. Oh, a nice flash as well. Very nicely done there from Droll to survive. But ultimately, it doesn't matter. This mid lane tower is doomed.
That's the thing, right? With the amount of long-range engage they have, they don't even need to look for that play towards top side. Knight going to come in and try to find the Poe. Isn't able to land the chain, though.
About. Yeah,
but
that's the thing as well. It's Leona. Like, of all of the targets to focus, that ain't it.
And the rest of the JDG members were in close proximity anyway, right? So couldn't have really amounted to much. But going back to that play, you have so much long-range CC and engage. They don't even have to look for that play of, okay, we push in mid, we get vision down top and try to play for that turret. Just, hey, throw out the Leona ultimate. You can open up the curtain call at any time. Even catching the wave right under your turret for Jackie Love is pretty much a sign of death without other members there or your flash up.
And I just want to quickly point to the scoreboard and just get a little bit excited, get a little bit fanboy about Yagao right now. He's on the Zoe. He's finished that Ludens we talked about, but importantly, 3 kills already. He's level 11 now, so he's really started to max out those skills. He's starting to do big damage. I feel like these next few minutes are going to be the story of just watching Yagao annihilate people. If he lands bubbles on Jackie Love, sure, there's a cleanse, but cleanse is a much longer cooldown than Sleepy Trouble Bubble. I'm excited to just get the treat of watching one of the best Zoes in the world strut his stuff.
60 games in his career, 65% win rate on this champion, very proficient on it. And now for JDG, to me, it's going to be a lot about grouping up as they have been, playing as this 4-man core. At some point, they are going to bring Zoom into the fold as well, to where for top esports, it's about what they just did in their last play, right? It's about putting Knight down in a side lane, trying to force them out.
Not a good place to be for Luma, but there's TP coming in. Maybe it was the correct place. Maybe he set this all up because Zoom is on behind everyone, and the TP is late from Xingtian. That's one down already. JDG trading it 1-for-1, and now they get onto the top laner. The flash does nothing as he falls, and Knight's on the back line. Loken, the flash forward from Knight, that was beautiful. Does go down himself, but hey, he got a return kill.
And he was able to get the shutdown gold from Loken as well. So at least a bit more worth coming out from that one in terms of just, you know, raw gold value. But still, I was a bit surprised to see Top Esports opt into that at first, because it's like, hey, Zoom is TP. JDG's core right now is stronger as a unit. For Top Esports, the thing they have going for them right now is that LeBlanc feels extremely comfortable in a side lane to where Yagao doesn't. You know, he's going to have to go back, play a bit safe. He always has to be wary of Knight popping out from a bush and being able to solo kill him. So I'd like to see Top Esports try to go more of that route to find their way back into the game. They are sitting on 2 Drakes, so, you know, you always have Soul to play for, at least getting an early Elder and trying to go for some sort of 50-50. We're going to go straight into the replay. Lumao going in to get Vision by himself. Probably felt comfortable with how close the rest of his team was and the fact that Zoom does have that TP. And Zoom just coming in strong. The rest of the members of Top Esports having to flash away, but still Yagao able to finish him off. And this damage on the Xingtian was just so massive coming out from all members of JDG.
Really, like, Xingtian, he tried, right? He tried. I respect the TP, right? He has to try and get involved in the fight, but it was a little bit too late. JDG just jumped on top of him, and sure, you've got sustain, but he's not that tanky. He can heal a lot, but not when you just get absolutely one-shot. Lumao the target once more, but we've seen this about 9 times this game, and it's never worked out for Top Esports. They decide to back away. 3 seconds on this Drake lyric, and you have to expect at this point that JDG surely could just take it.
JDG are going to use Zoom's pressure to try to come down and show Top Esports, hey, even with chunking out Lumao, we aren't going to give this one up for free. We are going to start contesting you. And Top Esports realizing that, they are going to fight over contesting the wave right now. JDG will be the ones to get position on the Drake, so Top Esports going to opt into trading on the opposite side of the map. They realize, hey, we're down in gold. We've already gotten our 2 Drakes. This isn't too big of a deal. We need to start closing down that gold gap with potentially getting this turret for Xingtian, getting some minions as well, as we see Karsa doing now. And yeah, I feel like it's a pretty good answer coming out for TES, because they need some money, Munchables. They are pretty down bad right now.
Yeah, it's kind of rough for them. 5k gold down. Blue buff trying to be taken by Kanavi. Drops the Herald. I'm not sure if that was... that must have been intentional, right? Because you got Zoom pushing the wave. I wasn't sure if he just wanted to sweep and it's a bit of a misclick, but hey, while yes, top esports, they do get a bit of gold, they get that top tower, I mean, it's answered with a tier 2 in the bottom side. That is just simply not worth it. The Drake went down, JDG still getting absolutely anything and everything that they want. Yagao increasing that scoreline, and Kanavi on this Nidalee. Who cares if Nidalee's not the most meta jungler right now? Kanavi is just having the time of his life.
And right, a big thing about jungle is you know, how many winning lanes you have, where can you get prio, and how can you play around that. So JDG definitely drafted for a champion like this to be able to be pulled out and work. And going back to top esports, losing out on that split map trade, right? When you're down 5,000 gold, when you're falling behind in terms of items and you can't match the enemy, the sad thing for you is you really don't get to dictate what fights you're able to take. Because it's like, hey, top esports could have just not gone top, tried to match them bot, but the same result would have just happened and you wouldn't have gotten any gold back regardless, right? You would have sent 5 members down, they would still drop Herald because you can't engage into them. They'd be able to get that one off on the turret, and in the end, you would just be worse off than you would just trading on the opposite side.
So let's kind of revisit the win conditions we talked about before, because the concern I have, Lyric, is when you look at this top esports composition, a lot of it is very focused on the early game with the lethality Varus, with the LeBlanc. Now that they're starting to fall pretty heavily behind, are hopes and dreams for top esports fans starting to fall apart? Is this going to be the first time that we see JDG beat top esports in the regular split?
I definitely feel like JDG should be able to close this game out with the gold lead they have. They just need to pretty much continue what they've been doing. I even think at some point they should even look to try to bait Baron into finding an engage. Xingtian's teleport's going to be up soon, so maybe try to turn into that. But hey, you might have a pick.
There's a bubble. Jin is perfect for following up as well. Lumao has a stopwatch. Chuo is just eradicated. Another pick for JDG. Flash forward to get the bubble on Knight. Yagao. This is just beautiful to watch. The solar flares there. Now the curtain call. Knight does not get to play League of Legends today. And now the fourth shot goes through. Another bubble onto Casa and a spear to follow it up. JDG, it's just too beautiful.
And you don't need to bait Baron to find a fight. If top esports are just willing to fight you, you find the perfect Zoe bubble. This should be a guaranteed Baron for the side of JDG. Karsa's not up. They can't even look to try to 50-50 the smite. And now the gold lead is getting completely out of control for the side of TES, Munch. You're going to need an absolute miracle coming out from either Knight or Jackie Love with some kind of arrow for this game to be turned around, but it's looking pretty grim.
Man, the coordination from these in these fights from JDG is just so unbelievable to watch. Yagao especially, I think, quite clearly the MVP candidate right now in my mind. I guess maybe Loken and Lumao could be in there as well, but the rest of the team following up so well on these bubbles. You even saw Xingtian trying to block for Knight there, but there was just so much available as Karsa gets hit to start the fight off.
Yeah, Yagao doing a really good job using that angle because they did a push on the top side. We do see Lumao going golden, which opens up Joel for that initial kill. And the fact that he's able to pick up a flash as well opens up for this next plate to come out. As you highlighted, Xingtian tries to block, but still solar flare into Zoom coming out into Loken also opening up curtain call. It really felt like there was no way for Knight to escape that one. And then once again, locking someone down for all the damage to come out. We have a Chemtech Putrefier coming out from Kanavi. Not too sure how I feel about that one when you don't have all that much sustain being built on the side of top esports, but it is an extremely cheap item. Only 2,300 gold, does give 55 AP and ability haste as well as mana regen, so I don't hate it, but...
Oh, hang on. Another curtain call in the middle. Solar flare. Cast is in trouble. The bubble goes down. I think he'll be okay, though, as he walks away. Towers are going to start to go down. As a hook comes out onto Zoom, Juo feeling aggressive here. Yagao over the wall, Carson barely survives. No bleeds on the side of JDG, so he will get out with his life. And Inhib will go down surely here in the mid lane. Looks like they will get away with this one and back off for themselves, but Juo maybe doesn't want them to go. I'm not sure this is a fight you really want, top esports, but they're going to take it regardless. Juo turns golden and then will just get burst down. Aftershock does nothing, and now the rest of the fight can ensue. It's 1-for-1 so far, though, as Xingtian is in the middle of everyone. Doesn't have much sustain, though, and gets cut down instead. But top esports get 2 kills for themselves. A 2-for-2 trade. Honestly, that's a win for top right now.
Top esports will definitely take those every single time. JDG pushing a bit too far. We're getting chunked down from Jackie Love in the side, coming out from Knight. And yeah, they end up getting punished. In the grand scheme of the game, with how this really affects win conditions or map states, I don't think it changes all too much. JDG is still going to lock up this second dragon of the game. I think a little bit lucky for Top Esports. We're nowhere close to Elder Dragon being up or being able to just outright end the game off that win condition. So for TS, they're going to keep trying to get gold in their pockets, try to find the cheeky picks when they can, but we're going to see here that TS kind of opting into a 4v5 with the fact that Karsa hasn't been able to join yet, but Yagao missing his spells onto Knight. We already see Lumao going in, and they are able to take out Joel pretty quickly, but for the side of TS, they actually have a ton of AoE damage, right? You have all the Qs coming out from Qingtian, you have LeBlanc distorting on top of everyone, Jackie loves piercing arrows going through absolutely everyone on the side of JDG, able to secure those kills because, hey, guess what? Jackie loves able to safely sit over his wall. Knight's able to safely sit over his wall. You're not really able to follow up on the key members of Top Esports.
Yeah, from 0-4 to 2-4, Jackie Love. He's looking for an MVP performance. I'm kidding. Yeah, I mean, look, it's a great fight for Top Esports. I don't want to get too carried away, though, because you and I both have a bit of a reputation for being fans of this organization. And let's be honest, they're 9,000 gold down. It's not looking real good for Top Esports at this point. And I have to say, we were talking about itemization before. Loken has a Hex Drinker just for fear of Knight at this point, which... a bit of respect, bit of props towards Knight there that he's been able to force a Hex Drinker purchase out of a Jhin player. But at the end of the day, that gold, the 1,400 that he spent on Hex Drinker, it's a drop in the bucket when you look at the gold difference between the two teams.
The big thing is as well, when I look at Top Esports comp right now, I feel like the only way that they will find the picks they need to get back in this game, if it's like a 5v5 in front of Dragon, a 5v5 in front of Baron, is Knight coming in off some wonky angle to assassinate someone, right? Because anytime just the members of Top Esports are right in front of JDG, they are just going to win out in this extended poke war with the item and gold difference that is on the table. So I think it's smart by Loken to realize, hey, this is really the only way Top Esports find the picks to get back in this game.
So Yagao just bouncing over the wall time and time again. Curtain Call comes out as the wave crashes to try and stop the defense here. Solar Flare, but it's not really going to be able to find anyone as Knight steps forward, just pops a Banshees. And Top Esports successfully defending for now, and it feels like JDG don't necessarily have a great way to start things off unless that Solar Flare lands.
And for JDG too, you don't want to keep gambling on, potentially diving into Top Esports base. Throughout the poke, I wouldn't be surprised if they just wait out the next Baron where their siege potential does go up massively and they can start breaking down more of these turrets. Until then, just keep pushing out sideways, try to pull Top Esports across the map, try to find picks, and choke Karsa out from being able to farm his jungle camps, which is what Zoom's doing right now.
Sorry, I very rudely interrupted you. There was just like 9 wards in one brush and I got giddy. I have a short attention span, okay? I'm a play-by-play. These kind of things amuse me. But yeah, I mean, when you look through the scoreboard right now, it feels so beautiful. And this composition, I'm loving watching how they play it. The fact that if Yagao lands a bubble, there is so much follow-up, like the Solar Flare. Obviously, Jhin, like every ability is incredibly long range. Kanavi landing spears. We got to see it in that mid-game fight. There's a bubble coming through on Karsa. He gets out of that one. I'm not even sure. I think the chickens broke the bubble there.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure myself. Another one hits, though. Top Esports might be able to find the engage. They are starting to get incredibly tanky as well with Karsa.
Lumao's gone a little bit deep on that one. Nicely done by Knight to pull him in. Zoom trying to tank up the team. Has the shield from Sterix, which is way too big. And Zoom still survives everything. The sustain is off of the charts, but he finally falls. 5 members strong for Top Esports. They're in full retreat. The curtain call here to chase them down. 4 shots come through. 1 kill comes out. Top Esports still on retreat, and JDG pushing forwards, looking for more as the pings go towards the top lane.
JDG do have to be a bit careful, so I'm glad that they end up backing off, right? Because you do have certain members with, a bit of health chunked out. Yagao, as we see, Lumao as well, to where Top Esports are in their base. They run to Fountain, they get full HP. It is still a 4v4. And I think that last skirmish showed us one thing, right? That if it was a bit closer of a game, if Top Esports find the engage, they probably would be able to start taking these fights. They have the front line available in Karsa, Qingtian, and Joel. They have damage coming in on the back line to be able to burst out a lot of the members on the side of JDG. It's just still that gold disparity kind of keeping them down. But We're still making our way towards item breakpoints. Mirror mana for JackeyLove. He is sitting on that last Whisper as well, so going to start building into what you would expect would be the Serelda's Grudge coming out next. And then maybe they will have a bit more bite behind their bark with these engages.
I have to see if they're going to be able to... I'm not going to lie. After the last couple of minutes, even though they're still 10k ahead, it's still very JDG favored. I'm a little less confident that they can close this one out. It does feel like they were really rapidly closing things, right? They were really rapidly taking control of the game. But the Baron, as you said before, this is the ticket for JDG to comfortably and quickly close things out here, to end this game against Top Esports. It does feel like the longer this goes on, the more opportunities Top Esports have the chance of finding, of getting themselves back in game. Dragon taken. Look at Top Esports, though. They have vision control of Baron right now. They're waiting in the wings. Knight and Duo looking for a pick here, but JDG, they're not going to bite for now as they just walk up mid lane.
Yeah, JDG just going to be smart. They group up as 5, walk together, going to start getting vision into the top side jungle because we're going to come out to the Baron bait and the Baron dance once again, trying to pull him in, hit a Sleepy Trouble bubble, and turn that into a pick to be able to secure that Baron and start ending the game that way. For TS, if they can get their, Qingtian Knight onto some of the core members like Loken and Yagao, you burst one of them out, then maybe that is a team fight you are able to close out. But at the same time, you just look at how tanky Zoom is down, the fact with the completed Spirit Visage. He's going to be able to survive through a lot of this burst, especially with the increased healing coming from those items, the Gore Drinker active. This is going to be a very tough Croc to take down.
Yeah, it certainly is. I respect the attempt there from Knight and Troll, but really intelligently played from JDG, and does mean that no cheeky shenanigans can happen from Top Esports. And when we think back to 2020, oh, hang on, there's a pick. Oh, nice on it. He just blows Kanavi off the face of the earth. And now suddenly, Baron is still available. No jungler here for JDG. I don't know if Top Esports are strong enough to do it, though.
And it looks like Top Esports are going to go against that, just going to pick up waves on the bottom side of the map, bring out some recalls, but we've seen Lumao make that mistake a few times, but guess what? Lumao is a Leona, doesn't always end up in death. Even when it does, it gives your team time to follow up on the play. JackeyLove is going to not be hit by the bubble, but I think that was a little bit too close to comfort for me.
Yeah, does have the cleanse, so he would have been all right. Let's take another look at this. Knight just, there's a ward, finds it over the wall, blasts in, and again, that's the second time this game we've seen Knight predicting the flash jumping forwards with that one. Zoom's in trouble here. Knight is here as well. The chains do land as Zoom is locked up, but he has a lot of sustain here. Dodges the sweet spot as Knight is forced away by Yagao, and suddenly Qingtian realizes he's been abandoned by his mid laner. Zoom survives. He's got the better sustain.
Top Esports still trying to answer on the opposite side of the map, though, so they are going to get some gold in return. I wonder if JDG just feel comfortable turning this into a Baron. I would assume they do. Zoom has TP up as well, so they can just go straight on that objective if they want.
Knight needs to try and find something. That seems to be the only way that this game is winnable for Top Esports. But hey, the fact that they have been so far behind this entire time and this game is still so fun to watch is a testament to this team. Casters over the wall. No blast cone available, but he does have his flash and he does have his smite. Lumao trying to zone Caster away. There's a bubble in here. He does have Mercs though, so the damage follow-up from the bubble, not that significant. Lumao using a stopwatch here. In goes another paddle star. Yagao step forward. Lumao might just go down. He's 1 HP as he will survive for now. Caster's taken out. JDG play this beautifully. They just hold Top Esports at arm's length. It's like the bully in the schoolyard. He's got longer arms than the other kid. Just holds him at full arm's length, and the swings just won't hit.
And, the setup for JDG was perfect in that fight because you have terrain between your carries and the enemy team. You have long enough range poke to throw that down and still get damage going. JDG look like they're going to push for the end. You have 20 to 25 second death timers. I think they can do this much.
I think JDG are going to do it. Spear just goes wide. Mid inhib will be taken. They've got Baron for these minions, though. Realistically, who can clear these Baron minions? JackeyLove's going to be able to throw a couple of Qs in here. The flash forwards. There's the stun. Goodbye, Qingtian. Gore Drinker won't do anything for him here, and JackeyLove shares his fate. The Nexus will fall, and JDG get their first ever regular split win over Top Esports.
really great to see from them as well, because they came out of their last series, I'd say, looking a little bit shaky, right? Sure, they did take down TT, but there were some close games. It left a lot of questions in people's heads. But coming into this game, really dominant early draft, find the picks they need. They get so many of their laners so far accelerated, right? We see the 2v2 kill in bot lane. We see Kanavi getting ahead, finding kills. We see the roam down from Yagao to get 2-0 on that Zoe. And Top Esports composition was left in a really awkward place with not a lot of answers. And the ball was pretty much in Knight's court, right? If Knight couldn't find these miracle picks, then there was really no way for Top Esports to find an avenue back into the game.
And you have to give it to him. He tried real hard to win that game. I mean, Knight, you can't criticize him on this one. But I will say, on the side of JDG, a win is a win. The early game looked amazing. I'm a little unconvinced by the mid game, though. That felt like they should have won about 10 minutes faster than they did. That felt like they were really stalling. And if they hadn't been quite as dramatically far ahead as they were from the early game, I actually think maybe in the later stages, Top Esports would have come back. So still, JDG getting wins here, but it's a little shaky. There's definitely some things that remain to be seen and need to be tightened up. But I have to say, Zoom or the Redecton looking terrifying as ever in these team fights. He was an absolute monster. Yagav's Zoe was just beautiful. I don't feel like it's any one individual player. I feel like individually, mechanically, this team looks good, but when it comes to playing the map, when it comes to trying to close things out, that's where I'm having issues.
I mean, just going back to your point of kind of look at everywhere. It's like, hey, we got a solo kill in top lane. We got a 2v2 kill down in bot lane. Like, what more can you ask for? The Zoe not realistically going to kill 1v1 kill the LeBlanc in mid lane. Be a big misstep by Knight. So overall, JDG's laners performing exceptionally well. Kanavi using that prio and that aggression to build into his own play. Found a lot of really good spears, but to me, the story of the game was just how many bubbles Yagao was landing to set up objectives, to set up team fights, and to even turn around engages that Top Esports were finding onto them.
Honestly, there was that fight in the mid game when it was like kind of setting up for Baron. Yagao finds the bubble onto Karsa, instant follow-up, finds another bubble onto Knight. He doesn't even get to play. And then there's the extra bubble at the end. I forget who it was onto, but the Kanavi spear to follow up to finish off. I think it was...
Oh, it's onto Karsa again.
The graphics is SOFM, it was Karsa. But yeah, like that fight was just so beautiful to watch. That felt like truly, League of Legends is definitely an art, not a science, right? And that fight was a masterpiece.
I'm also interested to see what this game brings us into draft going into game 2, because from talking to teams about, hey, what do you think is extremely OP? What do you think about Gwen Viego? The one thing every team I talk to said consistently is man, I just don't want to deal with Renekton. I'm just so tired of this champion being in the game. We see Top Esports not share the same sentiment. They're confident they go into the matchup. And like you said, Zoom pretty much had control the whole time.
Yeah, really beautiful performance coming out from Zoom and from the whole of JDG. We'll see if they're going to be able to keep that one up. Now, I believe as we head towards the break here, we've got a very special treat for you guys at home. As it is Hanfu Tate today, and we've got obviously a lot of cool stuff going on at the LPL, we're going to go to the stage during the break. We're going to have a live performance of Legends Never Die, played on a traditional Chinese instrument. So I'm going to throw to that. I'm gonna let them take it away and have a fantastic performance during the break.